kingdom move, standing on business like me, Shaq. Aiming for our goals, clear clack. Moving forward, no need to reach back. Tell me where I need to preach at. Tell me where I need to speak at.
All right, man, we're back with another episode of the CROWNEDCAST podcast. My name is Joseph Honeysett. With me, as always, is, man, the man with the glasses himself, bro, Mr. Joel Ngulu. Bro, you get so many compliments on those glasses. It's an incredible conversation starter.
Exactly. All marketing, bro.
Absolutely, man. That's that branding. It's like that coach hat that we got here with our special guest. And, this gentleman, I think, man, I'm excited to hear his story. I'm excited to hear exactly his background. He's a lead funnel marketing expert for coaches and, super sexy industry, right? But let me tell you, this dude is probably one of the most jacked coaches in the coaching industries, maybe outside of Alex Hormozi, but man, I think he's definitely up there. This gentleman once took his marketing agency from $0 to $500,000 in just 6 months. You can also find him on the Business Brains and Bronze podcast. And with us today, we're honored to have Mike Croson on the CROWNEDCAST podcast. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you guys having me, dude. I wouldn't say I'm the coach at this point. I would say I coach coaches from a software perspective. So I like to use the word jack marketer, but at least that's what I've been told. But yeah, man, it's been a wild ride, man. I've been doing this a very long time. And so I'm here to give any information I can to other business owners, those looking to start businesses, whether it's about, Christ, funnels, coaching, you name it. I'm here to support and give as much information as I can.
Let's do it, man. Let's start with probably what is most interesting to other people, right? When you hear a number of $500,000, you did it in 6 months. Can you talk from a founder's perspective on the ability to make that happen? Because there's a lot of people with businesses. Most businesses fail. Most businesses don't do that. So, man, from that founder's perspective, can you walk us through that journey?
Yeah. So let me state this. From 0 to 500, like we did 660 our first year. We actually went from 0 to 60 reoccurring in 4 months, 2 people. It was a grind. But the 500 is in a slightly different perspective. I've had multiple different companies. I was a co-founder of Rye Supplements. I had Coffee Over Cardio, which is an e-commerce brand. We did about 10 million in sales in that. I was a 9th employee at Shreds. I don't know if you guys are even old enough to remember that supplement company. But I've been around the game a minute. And now I basically only focus on this company, which is AR Funnel. And last quarter, we did like 873, something like that. Wow. So it's the come up, man, that's the grind. The foundation and from the founder perspective is sales gets you there. Mindset gets you through it. Because dude, it took me 10 years to make 6 figures. 10 years. And I got people coming to me complaining that they ain't making 10 grand a month in 90 days. So I just got no sympathy for not putting in the time.
Right.
Now, granted, I made a lot of mistakes. One of them, not investing into people around me to help me, whether that's paying for a mentor or being a part of something bigger or greater or better than me. Not asking God for wisdom. I made a lot of mistakes. As is, I'm gonna figure it out. Which here I am. I did. Right. I still got a lot to figure out though, and I had a lot of turmoil, a lot of relationships ended, a lot of backstabbing in the process to essentially figure it out.
Right.
And so, man, I just feel like we're in a society now versus the way I grew up from Alabama is like you don't ask questions, son. You just do more.
Yeah.
Versus now it's like, hey, it's okay to ask questions. It doesn't make you lesser of a man.
Right.
Ask how you do something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Close mouth.
Use Google, then just keep doing it until you figure it out. I
Right.
like you didn't ask Google. Just didn't happen. I remember the first time somebody's like, why don't you just Google it? I was like, huh, why didn't I think of that? 20. And I'm like, geez. So now it's just like ChatGPT is like on my phone. I ask questions all the time. It is bona fide Google.
Man, it's one of the greatest tools ever created.
Yep.
If you want to say social media is like bad, it can be. It also can be great.
Right.
Beef can be beneficial or give you a heart attack. You choose.
100%.
Anything in life, man. Like money can be bad if you poison it, if you abuse it.
That's
and
it.
it can be good and can be used for the kingdom, you know. And so
That's it.
It's how you use it and how you can like steward that, you know.
One of the things my father said is that everything needs moderation, son.
Yeah.
Everything needs moderation. He wasn't the smartest person in the world, but man, he was the hardest worker I knew. So one thing I got from it is that I'm a workaholic, which I'm constantly trying to work on to some degree. And to just be a man of my word and to constantly just put in the effort. There is no blaming. It's all ownership, which is part of our mission statement. Coach is actually our mission statement. Commitment to excellence, ownership, authenticity, Christ-like faith, honor. Every coach we work with, we send a hat. This is part of our core branding and what we do. And so we really live up to that. It's like, hey, everything that's happening is your fault. You need to own it. And so
why adopt that mentality? I think it's a great mentality, right?
Why?
Yeah.
Because everything that happens in your life is your fault, good or bad.
Yeah. That's facts.
The quicker you realize that, the easier it is to move on.
100%, man. Yeah, we're right there with you. We just live in a victim in society, right? And it's just easier to victimize, right? Especially like in the industry that you're in, being an entrepreneur. You can, it's easy to blame other people on why you're not succeeding. It could have been easy for you to blame other people for 10 years why you're not able to make six figures, right? It's easy. Yeah.
It did. And that's why it took me so long to make money.
But it came down to you, right? Yeah.
Because I spent more energy in saying, well, they got it easier than me. Or why do they got this? Or why does this happen to them? And why? And it's
when did that change though? Like when did that flip? Like when was that rock bottom when you were like, man was it at service? was it at your house?
That's a great question. When did that mentality change?
You said 10 years. That's a long time, right?
It is. Yeah, I didn't make six figures until I was 29 years old. I think whenever there's a few like things that come to my mind. One of them was like on frustration. I remember I was 14 coming from playing baseball, switching seasons, going to play basketball.
Okay.
And I went out to shoot some hoops. Couldn't make anything. And I got so angry. I just kicked the basketball and it goes like 100 yards. And I'm like, I got to go get that. And I go, instantly, what are you doing? You haven't shot all year. Yeah. You've been playing a different sport. Why would you think you'd come back and be just as good? And then instantly I got the ball. And then it was just like, we're starting from this starting point. It's time to work up. That was a really big mental shift for me. And it wasn't something said. It was my own reality. I'd probably say in that moment, a little wiser than my years at 14 to go, hey, you just need time. But that was a big moment. Concept. I heard somebody say, man, when was this? 7 years ago, maybe? Yeah, give or take. They said that if you can't clap for the person ahead of you, no one's going to clap for you.
Yeah,
that's good.
And I was like,
that's good.
And here I am, envy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to cut that out. I got to change that. So I started clapping for those that were finding success. And instead of looking on why they had it or how it was easier, what are you doing that makes it easier? Just changing the perspective. Instead, I'm watching you with hatred. How about I watch you with a pen and paper? I might not
100%.
like what you're doing, but I can still learn from how you're doing it.
Absolutely.
Like there's something to learn from every situation.
100%.
You go ahead, continue.
A big switch for me, I think also too, is I got divorced in 21. And that was like everything started changing for me. I was a short marriage. I was only married for like 18 months. It was my business partner at the time. So it was like everything was affected. Luckily, no kids, thank goodness. But it changed everything, man. The dynamic of obviously the business, the dynamic of our employees, the dynamic of my living situations, like my mindset, like everything. Here I am going 32 and I got to start over. And it really started bringing up a bunch of past trauma from like me growing up, not being good enough. And so a lot of things just had to come. It was just the last straw that broke the camel's back that said, Mike needs to work on him. And not that the marriage was essentially the ending was my fault. I will to take ownership because that's what we do. But you can't force somebody to want to be with you.
Yeah.
So after trying for long enough, I was like, all right, well, I'll just call it then. So I'll give you what you want. This is what you want. I'll give it to you. So that's what happened. But anyway, man, I went into breath work. God was not in my life at this time.
Okay.
I got baptized at 16 under pressure by high school.
Did you go to private school or
Nope.
just?
Nope.
No, okay.
Nope. I grew up in Alabama. Church of like 35.
Okay.
It was half of it was family.
Yeah.
And so basically it was my dad, I think, really just putting it on me.
Yeah.
Pressured. And so I did that at 16. And then by end of high school, I was like, I don't believe in any of this. And I basically, from 15 years, was like, no. I was like, I remember, dude, 3-4 years ago. No, 2017. I lived in California. I'd go out with people. They'd pray for dinner. And I was like, I don't believe, but I'll pray with you. I believe that you believe. And I want to support you, do you.
Yeah.
And I was 25. A friend of mine invited me, older friend, invited me to go to something for my birthday. He was like, yeah, just a bunch of guys just hanging out for the weekend. I was like, cool. I show up and it's like a reborn event.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that just doesn't sit well. And I asked the guy, the head pastor, I was like, look, can I be a good guy and not be a Christian? He was like, yes. He's like, you just won't go to heaven. I was like, I can live with that. As long as I feel like I'm a good person, I feel like that's all I need to do. Right. And I lived a few years like that. Well, the last 9 years, 10 years, something like that. Just how can I just be the best I can be, the best person? And then, but the other things, like there's things in my life that didn't go away. I still like struggle with the business, still struggle with worry. Dude, so much worry. Am I going to make this work? Like, what am I going to do? And just this burden and stress. We talk about salt and pepper. That's because God wasn't in my life. So I've actually only been on the journey of God being by my side probably the last 20 months.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Hey, amen.
You can't tell. You can't tell for real.
Well, it just takes one day.
Honestly.
Absolutely. That's all
it just takes one day.
Absolutely.
I think there's great people that don't have faith. And then I also think that there's not great people who say they have faith.
100%.
And I wanted to be a good person first, faith second, I felt like. And now I feel like as it worked on me so long, faith now becomes just like, it's easy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you got to work on you, but sometimes faith comes first. And then you got to remember, we're still sinners at heart. But if at the same time, I feel like I had it a little bit backwards. I was like, I'm going to fix the sinner, then find the faith.
Yeah.
And then, but even then I wasn't. But anyway, I can ramble, but
no, that's good, man. People need to hear that.
Let's get deeper on a topic, and I'll dive into it more.
No, yeah, man. That our testimonies are our currency. You know, like especially when you have that influence, right? You're building your brand. You're being bold about it, which I think is the dopest thing about it, right? Like you're a new Christian, right? But you're loud about it. Like you're not hiding that. There's the majority of people, like, especially with entrepreneurs that we've worked with, they're like, man, I want to be bold about my faith, but I'm worried that if I do that, then, I'm going to lose clients and customers.
That's a real thing, man.
Real thing. Mm-hmm. So, but what makes you different about that, right? Like, why do you not care?
Yeah. So my now wife, is probably the boldest person I know. And I one of the things I'm attracted to her is that she's so courageous and bold in her faith. And one day before I let's say committed, she said, if somebody had to put a gun to my head and said, do you believe in Jesus? Denounce it. She's like, I just take the bullet. I was like, what? I was just like, well, I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
And then we go on, and I think for me, the big picture was a few different things, and I'll dive into some of this. When we live in a scarcity mindset, but we call ourselves Christians, those can't coincide.
Come on, bro.
Come on. Tell us.
You can't call yourself a Christian and have faith if you worry about when your blessing's going to arrive.
Come on, man.
Mm.
And so when we go up every day, worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, I don't have faith that God's going to provide. And if I'm so concerned about people that are not Christians paying me, then why would I think that Christians that do align with me would want to come work with me even more because I am Christian?
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together.
100%.
And so those will step forward and work with you because of who you are, not what it is you do.
All right.
We've had people not quit our company because of who we are.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's like I view it from this standpoint. If our mission as Christians is to spread the word of God, then why would I not spread it everywhere? And if I believe that God's going to provide, would I not want to spread that message so that he will then provide because I'm doing the things that I'm called and supposed to do? Why would I think that he wouldn't trim the fat to make it better? You want your tree to blossom more, dude, you got to prune it.
Yeah.
All right. You got to get rid of the stuff that maybe ain't serving you to make room for those that can serve more. And so for us, it was very we have people that work with that aren't Christians.
All right.
But at the same time, we have people that come to us because we are. And so the fear of someone else getting in the way and trying to put out your light, it's like your whole job is to shine that light.
Yeah.
It's responsibility.
And when you're covering it, it's like you actually give that thing no room for growth.
Exactly.
You want that fire to grow, it needs oxygen, which means it needs to be able to breathe.
Yes.
And so for us to do that, we have to be vocal about it.
Yeah.
We have to be bold in faith. The gun has to be to the head. And so for us, it's like, how do we do that? And it's just like, I host a month. Apparently I'm doing a monthly call now because I held it for the first time in January. how to put God in your business. People showed up to the call, more than I expected. And they're like, can you do this every month? And I was like, I guess so. And so it's like those people are there for more than just the business side of it. But the way we view it, and my testimony actually revolves around tithing, funny enough. It was like the more people that come to us, the more we get to serve the community. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm doing that, then why would God not bless that? But if I'm saying like, well, I'm not going to spread your message, why would he give you a bigger audience?
Exactly. We, it's funny because we have, we're supposed to live a purpose-driven life. Like God has a plan for each and every single one of us, right? Leveraging our talents, whatever it may be, right? We have a divine plan behind us. But when we don't include him, but we expect the same blessings to come without having him, just doesn't make sense. And I'm saying that from a place that I used to think that way. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be a Christian, but I'm not really gonna talk about God like that. Like it's a separate box in my life. Like there's my church box, then there's, the Joseph Honeysett box, and then there's, fitness, right? It's like, no, but like being a follower of Christ, you apply him to every aspect of your life. And that's what makes your life better. Because like in the gym, God, please help me with these deadlifts. Give me extra strength, right? Like in that way, you know what I mean? And I love the fact that you are a newer to being bold in your faith, being a Christian, but you're already leading. Like that's what like excites me. That's what fires me up, because there's so many people that believe in Christ that are just, they sit on a fence.
They wait, bro.
Yeah, dead weight.
I think oftentimes it's because they're still doing something that they know they need a release of, and then that makes them a hypocrite.
Yeah.
We still have this sin that maybe no one knows about.
But that's the whole walk of being a Christian. It's not about perfection. It's like we're still going to sin.
Totally. There's a difference, though, in my mind.
Let's hear it.
So 20 years, man, I would say I was addicted to porn, watching 3 to 4 times a week. Got married second time. And was like, I can't be a Christian and keep doing this, because that's not a Christian.
Yeah.
But how am I going to talk about being a Christian while I know what my history on the internet looks like? But if I can cut that tie, cut that rope, let that go, then that's one less thing for me to be a hypocrite about. That's a big one.
For sure.
So it's like those type of things of being able to say that out loud to whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Do you like? I remember when people used to talk about that dude, and it would make me cringe. I'm like, I would never tell people that. But at the same time, it's like, but people look to me like I'm here, some pedestal of some degree, and I'm like, you know what I want to be? I want to be that person that when somebody looks at, like I did, and go, I want to be like that guy. He's bold in his faith. He's an amazing husband, always great attitude, positive, best day ever. How do I be like that guy? And I'm like, I got to do what that guy does on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure this isn't attached to that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure to show up the way he does, he doesn't have this giant cloud of sin that he knows is over him. The burden of holding on to sins will keep you from actually spreading the message and being bold in your faith.
Because that's shame.
Yeah.
Shame. And so that's why I make this analogy all the time. I grew up in a Church of Christ where it was like suits and ties at church, okay? A lot different than today's church. We're like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it just because I was raised. Here I am being my own Pharisees, but like I don't believe we should be wearing hats in church. That's just me. Right? I think there's a level of respect, but at the same time, it's a rule that I made up. Right? I get it. Maybe that's just the Southern in me. I don't know. But it's just one of those things to where back in the day, like if you need prayer and you've got something on your mind and you got alcohol or porn or addiction or something, just walk on forward. And I'm like, sitting remembering the kid, like, who's coming? Shame.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man, everybody close your eyes and bow your heads. I just need to see a hand.
Oh my goodness.
I just need to see it. Because we have to reduce the friction between feeling and action. Which is why we do that. It's because no one walks down the aisle, but you have 300 people raise their hand.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like, how do we take those little small steps to move forward with that, to reduce the shame? And when you let that thing go, it's just part of the journey, because I know if I can say that is me, the guy that people might look up to and like, hey man, I've got a past too. You can also let that go. But if I acted perfect and this, let's say hypocrite, then I go, well, I'll never be like that because I got this. But if I go, dude, I had that and I had this and I have this, it's like, oh, so you're like me?
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we're all sinners. And I'm not a believer that one sin's bigger than another.
Right.
I believe that all sin is sin.
Yep.
And I think they should be treated the same. Really, like my big thing this past year was like, oh, you got to stop cussing. And I have for a lot. And then somebody cuts you off in traffic. But it's like every little thing, I think, starts to stack. And when you can cut the big things, man, the easy things or the small things become easy. But sometimes we just have that anchor that doesn't let us actually shine, because we can't step into where we're supposed to go when we're still tied to the thing behind us. So cutting the thing that you feel like is your lock, something that's holding you down, your ball and chain, if you would, you can't become free until you let that go.
Yeah.
And we always want to go over here, but we can't ever let that go. And so now coming up on 2 years, let's just say sober of porn, is like, man, that's 20 years. Like that's a big deal.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And now I'm like, hey, let me work on the next battle. Let me work on the next test. You know? So
man, you're humble, man. I think that's the key. I think we don't teach about humility. Like we don't teach you. We go to church, we have 3-point sermons, but we never talk about humility. The pastor never brings up his past, doesn't talk about his trauma, and opens that door for people to step up. I think the problem is that the audience is thinking, man, that guy, he's like that. I'll get there one day. No, you can have it today. But the problem is, I think the top
bro.
leadership, we don't share that. Like we want them to keep coming back every Sunday, because if we share the power, they can do it their own. And so now they're leaving my church, and my church is becoming smaller. So it's like an ego thing that we, the pastors, don't want to give the full truth and knowledge to people because they're afraid that it cuts their checks in half or something like that. That's what I see.
Yeah. So the idea here is that we have to appear to be perfect, right? When we all know we're not. And even pastor will say that they sin, but they won't talk about how they sin.
Yes.
Right.
Right. And so it's like, and not that has to be public knowledge, because it doesn't. It just needs to be shared. That's biblical, right?
Yeah.
But for people to follow in a big way and be encouraged, I need to see that I'm also like somebody else through reality. For us, I think the best way to relate is to be relatable. And I know that if I had to put a number on it, 95% of men struggle with porn or clicking on some girl's Instagram they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Bro, that's a hard battle, especially when I was married, having to have that conversation. That's tough.
Man.
But it's a difference between finding out and me bringing it forward.
Right. Right.
That's that ownership.
It is. But it's also like, I'm bringing this to you because I'm wanting to become better. It's a lot different in that conversation.
Right.
Versus I'm making a change because you called me out over it.
Right.
Like
right.
that, you know, there's a big difference. I want to be a better husband versus I have to be a better husband.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I want to be the man of faith versus like, I got to be the man of faith.
Man, I want to stay on this topic because this is a topic that most people don't ever open up and talk about.
Yeah.
But like you said, majority of men go through this. Majority of men at church struggle with this. Majority of men that are married struggle with this, right? So I appreciate your honesty. That's why I want to stay on this.
Totally.
Because I want to know, what was it for you that helped you, right? Was it you just got sick and tired, or man, you saw your new wife and you're like, I know what that does. Like what was it for you? And then how did you maintain that accountability through that process?
I think the deciding factor with me was, hey, we can't. Okay, let's just roll it back to real testimony.
Come on now.
It'll all come forward. I love work. I love cashing checks. I don't like writing them as much as I love cashing them.
Yep. Come on.
All right. I love building the thing that makes money. That's what I love to do. I don't necessarily have as many hobbies as I do showing up to the office and building something and serving. So we went to a sermon. I lived in St. Louis for 1 year before I moved back to Texas. And while I was up there, we went to a service, and it was my wife and then our niece and nephew, her sister's kids. We took them, and it was called Dollars and Cents, SENSE. And it was on tithing. If there's one thing that I struggle with, it's just the power of the church and money. Because I always had this, is it the chicken or the egg? Did we make religion to control people and power and manipulation, which has happened?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For centuries. Or did faith create man? There's an argument for both sides, I felt like. Just based on we are sinners and ruthless and savages by nature. I believe that. So I'm sitting here in this sermon, and it was speaking to me. I come home, I get in the shower, and I'm just sitting there thinking. And I'm just pondering everything he talked about. And I just started going to a Bible study with my wife to appease her. I feel like most men do. It's like, yeah, you want to go? Absolutely, I want to go. I could care less about doing that. So I show up, we go, and actually the guy that runs it, who's actually one of the main reasons I came back into the faith, he goes, how long have you been a believer? And I said, I don't know that I am. And he was just like, really? I go, yeah. First time I said that out loud.
Yeah.
And because I wouldn't say, like, a lot of people go from like, hey man, I'm a lukewarm. I'm going to a hot Christian. I've been lukewarm. Most people fall in the lukewarm. Right. I wasn't lukewarm. I'm like, nah, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So now I'm not lukewarm. Like I skipped that step because I'm like, we don't do nothing halfway around here.
Right.
I mean, I'm in or out, one or the other. There is no in between. And so I'm sitting in the shower, and I had like 4 business conversations with other people, and I just couldn't really grasp and understand what they were saying. And like, this is 2 years ago. I've been in business for 15 years at this point. Like, I'm pretty savvy. I've been able to do some things, but it just didn't make sense to me. It was like they were speaking tongues. I'm sitting in the shower, and I go, Mike, you're a man of money. Like, you're a business dude. If you don't believe in it, you won't pay for it.
Yeah.
And instantly it hit me. It was like God wiped my mind and said, let me just show you a preview. All 4 conversations instantly became crystal clear, and I knew exactly what they were doing, This entire business model I was thinking about starting just instantly lined up. And all of a sudden, I just saw this multi-million-dollar business game plan just lay out in front of me. I was like, all right.
I ain't taking no showers.
I walk outside, talk to my wife. Also, something I never said before. I go, I think God just spoke to me in the shower. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I told her all these things. And then instantly I was just like, well, I guess I got to start tithing. I go, I want to write that check. So I didn't write the check. I set up on auto draft and I still don't look at it. And this automatically comes out because I don't want the sinner to get in the way of the blessing.
Right.
Because no matter, sometimes we're our mindset of doing the right thing. How about we just do the thing and we don't have to fight that urge, that feeling? Remove the trigger. You don't have to worry about the repercussions.
Yep.
You don't want to drink? Throw out the alcohol. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
Right? You don't want to cuss? Stop listening to that music.
Come on.
Right? All the little things that get us in that bad place. That means you probably need to cut somebody out of your life listening.
Come on.
But so I started putting the money, sending it over, doing the things. And I was like, okay, well, here I am tithing, cutting this check every month. And I was like, that's more than you pay for rent three years ago. This is crazy. And then
God is good.
But why am I watching porn still? I go, I feel like that's a waste of money because I'm just paying for something, but I'm not actually being a Christian.
Yeah. A transformation.
I go, man, if I want that 10% that God's going to do, he can do more with 10% than I can do with 100, but I better show up with that 10%. And so I basically was like, what are all the things I need to get in my life that need to get in order? A lot of people start with tithing last. I started with the first. So I'm a man that follows the dollar, not from a greed standpoint, but just from a core. As a man, I think that's a lot for me. And so God put people in my life that made a lot of money who were Christians because they knew I would listen to them. I wouldn't listen to the person that was broke talking about Christianity.
Yeah.
But I respect what you've built in a business. And then you talk about your tithing. And I go, you tithe more in a month than I make in a year. I'm like, this is bonkers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but if you believe that that's why you got to that level, that's a lot of faith.
Yep.
And if I want to be the person that you are, going back to, I want to be the person that's successful, who's the Christian, who you know they're a Christian within 5 minutes of talking to them, the person that's bold, the person that's a great husband, and those are the things you're doing, I need to follow suit then. I'm going to follow your path. And so then I realized it's like, okay, so for me to become this person, do these things, it ain't just one of the 5. I need to do all 5.
All of it.
So I started cutting out things. And that's just part of it. One of those was the porn of it, because like that's a multifaceted. It's like, I can't be a Christian. I can't be a good husband. It's taking away from my wife. I'm not honoring my wife. If I'm supposed to treat my wife like the church, I don't think that goes in the church.
Right.
And so it's like, am I saying I'm a part of it or am I being a part of it? There's a difference. So for me, it was just stepping into becoming the person that I wanted to be. And that means other stuff's got to go. And when there's a guilt associated to something, my question becomes is, why do we keep doing it then? So I go back to fitness for a second. You know you shouldn't eat that food, but you do it anyway, and then you feel bad about it that you did it. So why do you keep doing it?
It hurts so good, Mike.
Right? And so it's like, it's this short amount of comfort or pleasure for lasting long-term detrimental results. And so I was like, what is causing me issues and pains in my life that is clouding me? And I realized throughout the journey and process, like with going to therapies and all these things, is like, I would use porn as a way to run away from my problems instead of just facing them. Stressed at work, fight with the wife, don't want to go to the gym, something's taking mental bandwidth, escapism. Some people escape to food. Some people escape to drugs, alcohol, porn, women. Right? We want to leave reality just for a minute. And I realize that's not what this person does. This person owns it, faces it, takes ownership of the situation, makes adjustments and changes. And when you realize that you can't do it yourself, you should probably ask for a higher help.
And you talked about the importance of having the right people around you. I think it was at the beginning of the podcast. You wish you would have invested into people around you. Talk about that briefly and why that's so important. Like as Christians, we're called to community. Just human beings, we need other people around us. In business, coaching, mentorship is absolutely instrumental, especially getting from point A to B, like not in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
In a faster time period. But I just want to hear your perspective on that.
So if you want to learn something, you either can do it the hard way or you can just ask questions. But you got to have people to ask. When you're wanting to achieve a goal, let's say around fitness, and you live at home, or you're over at your mama's house every weekend, and she says 1 meal won't hurt you, but that meal is all the time, it is going to hurt you.
Right.
But the less frequently you go over there to eat dinner, and you go hang out at the gym with other friends where food is not incorporated, or you hang out with healthy people where that meal that won't hurt you is actually something healthy, then you're surrounding yourself with success of where you're trying to go. So we've all heard this. It's like, you're a culmination of the 5 people you hang out with. Whether you pay for that or not, but paying allows you to hang out with a different crowd that you couldn't necessarily get into. Right? I now am in a crowd, or could easily get into a crowd with people, let's say, are the same level or above me that I would not be able to get into many years ago. But it's because as our social status increases, so does our peers, right? But for me to get there, I had to pay to get in. And then you find success, and then your peers now level up. It's a lot like if you drive a Corolla, you probably don't hang out with people that drive Mercedes-Benz. And Mercedes-Benz probably don't hang out with people who drive Lambos. It's just a social tier. Now, that social tier can be Christians. It can be partiers. It can be gym goers. Like, there's different sections and social networks which you can be a part of. There's nothing actually I'm saying from a personal level with any of these people. It's just where we're at in life or the season in which we're in. And so the season that I'd essentially wanted to go into that I didn't see was I need to get around people who have already done what I've done. So it's because I can learn from them a lot easier than me having to figure it out.
Right.
Even though Ego Mike wants to be like, we're gonna figure it out. Of course we want to figure it out. But dang, can we shorten the time period? Can we make it easier on us?
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes that 5 years gets summed up in 5 minutes with the right conversation.
Man, that's so good.
Yep.
Whether that's, again, Christianity, fitness, business, right? Like any aspect, like I believe you're just one sentence away from the next level.
Come on. Man, that's the reason why we created Crown. We wanted high-level Christians, entrepreneurs, people who are go-getters to get together, rub shoulders, and do business, Yeah. I have a question. Not to switch the topic, but I really want to know this because you mentioned this at the beginning about like those offers you see, 10K months in 90 days or 100Ks in 6 months. And you talked about how like some of them are real, some of them are not. Can you talk about like, because a lot of people do those challenges and they get burnt and it just puts more of a barrier in their hearts and their minds because they tried it and it didn't work. Can you talk about like the flaws in some of those systems? Do they work? Do they not? And then can you talk about your systems and how you go about it?
Sure. People ain't gonna like to hear this. If you're trying to do 10K for your first month ever, let's say in business, what you're being taught, odds are works. You just ain't working it. Just because you pay me, don't mean you're gonna make money. Just because I give you a meal plan doesn't mean you're gonna get skinny. Just because I give you a sermon doesn't mean you're gonna believe anymore.
Exactly.
You got to do the work required. When I go to an event to learn from somebody, I'm looking for one sentence. One sentence. I'm not trying to change my life and all of a sudden I come out of there and all of a sudden I just got these gold bars just shining out of me. One sentence. The difference between somebody that's not doing 10 grand and somebody does 10 grand a day is that one sentence can be leveraged a lot harder. I can take your one sentence and go make 100 grand versus you might take it and go make $100. It's the experience difference between when you heard that sentence. But if you're never in the room and around the people to hear the sentence, you can't make the 100 to then next time you heard it, you made 200 for the next time you heard it to make 1,000. And so you have to show up in those areas for it to work, which means that requires work. You want to make more money on social media, you should probably post more. And if you post for 90 days and it don't work, remember other people have been doing it for 10 years. And it still didn't work, but they didn't give up. And here you are complaining. So the ownership perspective of going, that program didn't work. It should be, did I work the program? Did I do all the things? And the truth is that, again, you're looking for a few sentences out of a program if it's long-term, but what did you do with those sentences? Did you take action on them? Like, did you go into it fully? I talk to fitness coaches. A lot of fitness coaches in great shape, right? Obviously, you have to be. It's also their passion. But I tell people, man, if you'll treat your business like you do your fitness, you'd also get 1% better there every day too. But nowhere in there did it say we're going to turn rich in 90 days. Just like your body wasn't developed in 90 days.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it wasn't developed in 9 months either.
Right.
But we quit on things that we're necessarily good at or don't see instant results from. And a lot of times business owners, when something doesn't work, they stop doing it because the insecurity of not being great at it prevents them from going through it. Because when we're really good at something, like say our fitness, everything else we're insecure about because we can't make it great like we're seen as great here.
Right. Right.
At the same time, how many successful business owners ain't in great shape? You gonna tell me you can't do something? It's like, bro, you make $250 a year. What do you mean you can't do something?
Yeah.
You just ain't applying that same effort and energy over here.
Right.
So if you'll treat your business like you do your fitness, you'll get 1% better, vice versa. If you'll treat your fitness like you do your business, you'll also will get better.
That's good.
And everybody starts at the same level.
Right.
And so it's like, well, that didn't work for me. No, it's like, no, you just quit. You just quit. There is no such thing as luck. It's just the right knowledge showing up at the right opportunity. And you want to blame the program. But the truth is what did you learn from the program? Because maybe that program was just to set you up for the next thing.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to go back to this faith. If I believe, why am I worried about when God's going to bless me? This ain't now. You ain't ready for it, which is why you ain't got it. You want the 10 grand. You want it fast, which is why you don't have it. There's a difference between have to have it, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to get it. There's this gap between how far have I came versus I'll be happy when I get here. We had an in-person come in yesterday. Amazing dude, Christian. And he was like, man, I was like, when I get to 50K a month, I can be like, dude, that's going to be awesome. It's going to make me happy. And I was like, hang on. I was like, I've been here. Here's the problem. You're going to get to 50. You know what you're going to say? 50 is great, man. But dude, I got to get to 100.
Yep. Chasing.
You're going to chase. I go, instead of going, hey, a year ago, you were working a construction job and now you're making $10,000 a month. You got what you wanted, but you're not satisfied with it.
Yeah.
I go, why would God bless you with more when you're ungrateful for what you got?
Come on.
I go, I need you to realize that everything you have now is a blessing and everything you get is a blessing. But if you're not grateful for this, that's not going to happen.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And so when I have the opportunity to do more and I'm excited to see where we go versus I'm worried if I'm going to get there, and you show up completely different. That's the difference between scarcity and abundance.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about scarcity versus abundance, but the truth of it is scarcity is saying, I have to get to this. I have to do this. I have to do that. Versus abundance is, man, I really love where I'm at, but this would be cool too. And I find it that it's being content, but not complacent. I had somebody tell me that, and I thought it took me a second to sit on that for a minute. And I was like, I'm content, but not complacent. And then I started to own that identity. I'm grateful for what I got. I am grateful for what I got. This is amazing. And the fact if anybody's listening to this, thinking that you're going through a hard time or a dry spell, remember that you're listening to this on $1,000 device instead of having to go fetch your water.
Yeah, come on, man. Don't get me started on that one.
I went to Africa last year to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. Of course, I'm in Africa, Zimbabwe. I get to see all these people and the living conditions, how they're doing. This guy's carrying on my stuff for $10 a day,
bro.
I'm like, sheesh.
He's happy. He's happy with that $10.
And I'm out here doing this hard thing for fun. And I think that's part of the problem in today's society as a whole. Don't get me on this tangent, but life's too easy, so we got to complain about something. We find things to complain about. That's why we're fighting for other people when we don't have a dog. We don't have a dog in that fight. Why are we talking about that?
Man, oh man, you explained my morning. You explained my morning, brother. So don't start the tangent because you're gonna get me going on a tangent too.
But it's like, man, if we would just be so grateful for what we got, then it's the next thing's ready to show up. And this is something I try to live by, and this is what I taught the other day on my call. Every time something happens to you, you have a decision to make. And I call it a test. Somebody comments on your social media post. How you show up in that moment is a test. Your wife says something to you. That's a test. You lose 5 clients that day. That's a test. Everything that happens that requires not a physical or a verbal, but an emotional. Your relationship is you and God. No words required for that to happen. When business goes down, and I'll talk about business. When business starts to take, something doesn't go as you wanted it to or expected, how you show up in that moment, whether it's grateful for what I got or scarcity, that is a test from God. And in my mind, if you fail that test, you're going to get a harder test. Because if you fail this test, why would I bless you with another one, with a blessing? Pass the test, you're ready for the next thing.
Yep.
You pass that test, you're ready for the next thing.
Absolutely.
You're ready for the next blessing.
Yeah,
blessings come from positive, like passing the test in a positive nature. And that's here. And it's coming from a sense of gratitude and I think being humble. Because whenever we get angry that we didn't close, we went 0 for 5 on sales calls that day. It's like, hey, you had the opportunity to sell 5 people. You choose how you want to look at it. But hey, man, I'm just one more closer to yes. God's like, let me line some more people up for you.
Yes, man. I always
say no. Like, this sucks. Like, the team's terrible. It's like, why would I bless you with more than that? Let's keep this 0 streak going until you actually become appreciative of the fact that you have this opportunity.
How many people can I call that'll tell me no, right? Instead of focusing on the win, you focus on the loss, and the byproduct will be the win. I always say, either God provides you an opportunity through an open door, or you get hit in the head by a 2x4. And a lot of times when you have pride and ego, you get hit in the head with a 2x4 for a very long time when you're like, all right, let me just shut up and let me just do your will. Let me add you.
That's so good.
But-
they have that saying that's let go, let God.
Yeah.
I view this, I picture this, right? There's clouds all around. I got 5 doors in front of me, but I'm so close to the one in front of me and I'm yanking on it and I can't open it. But if I just let go, take a step back and let God, he's gonna be like, well, there's these other ones over here you could just go through easily.
Yeah.
But because I'm trying to force the thing, I can't take a step back and see what actually is there.
Mm-hmm. But that's also why, like, having people in your life that can guide you, whether it be a coach and a mentor, because we see our problems at face value. And we see it so close that we can't see anything else around us. And then the people that are in our life that are giving us guidance to the results that we want, they're like, dude, there's a whole nother door right there. Like, take 3 steps back and like go that way. Why does it have to be this door? You know?
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe about what are your thoughts on when somebody says I'm going through a desert right now? I'm going through a hard spell, a hard time.
It's a blessing, bro. Honestly, like when look at Peter in the Bible when he talked about they were getting beat and what was his outcome? Like, what did he say? He was like, man, we're blessed. The fact that we're getting persecuted, the fact that we're getting beat, that's actually a blessing. In society, we look at the wilderness or the desert like, bro, you probably did something wrong. Like, look at Job's friends. Job's friends was like, Job, man, you probably did something to God, man. That's why you're in this season, right? But it's not. The reason why you're in the wilderness, God's pruning you. You should look at it as like, hey, man, I'm getting better. And so when someone says I'm going to the wilderness, I'm like, bro, you're getting blessed right now. You're going through something good. You're going to become a better person. Everything you prayed about a couple of years ago, God, make me this person, make me patient, make me slow to anger, make me better loving to my wife, to my kids, right? Well, he's doing that now in the wilderness. That's what you ask for, but you don't recognize it because lack of leadership, lack of people telling you what the wilderness is. And so we have a pedestal of pastors not teaching the blessings of how God blesses his people. We just teach about abundance. Like, hey, go to God, you'll get abundance. No, go to God. He'll probably bring you to the wilderness first, right? And then he'll bring abundance. Why? Because he wants you to be sharp in your, like, the knowledge and your testimony is going to be powerful for someone else. And so when someone tells me that, I'm like, hey, bro, you're blessed. But then me and Joseph always talk about, like, Israelites. It took them 11 days. It was supposed to be an 11-day journey. It was 40 years of the wilderness. Why? It's a mindset. They couldn't change out the mindset. They were like, man, I'd rather be in jail. I'd rather be in Pharaoh. At least we had food. At least we had shelter. Nah, bro, God's teaching you how to become an anchor. Why? Because Israel, you're going to be a leader for salvation for the next people. But they didn't see that at that time because, again, lack of leadership, lack of like understanding where they're at, lack of understanding what God actually is doing in their lives.
I think that example right there is actually what I needed. Because I say, hey, that's like me having this test thing. Like, I don't have scripture to back it up, but you just gave it to me.
Brother, man, you did more for me than I. I was gonna tell you, brother, like, we need people like you in the church because, man, that's what it is. God's not using like the high priest, using people who are hunger and they don't care, that they have humility, they might have a past, but he wants to help that for this new generation because this new generation doesn't want to go to church on Sunday and hear the pulpit. They want to hear someone like you. So, bro, you did more for me than, I mean, praise God, iron sharpens iron. But I just want you to know, man, everything you said today, like, it lit me up.
Yep. I appreciate that, man. I think that's so good. I say that because, like, I used to be like, man, we're going to have bad days. And like, hey, I'm in business, 33% of them are bad, 30% are neutral, 30% are good. And it's just like, then I heard Kevin Hart say, I don't have bad days. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have bad days? And I was like, oh, that's actually just, it doesn't matter what happens. You choose whether it's good or bad.
100%.
And so for me, it's like, I don't have bad days. People like, well, that's because you got this and that and this. And it's like, no, it's just because I just choose to realize that no matter what happens, I'm going to be just fine.
I always think of it like this, right? Like, everybody loves going to Disney World, but the majority of time when you're at Disney World, you're standing in the line and you're on you're on a ride for probably less than 2 minutes. The majority of the time you are in line, in the heat, sweating. you get so little enjoyment out of that whole experience. But if you ask somebody, you know, Disney World, how was your experience? Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's the happiest place on earth. You're in a line the majority of the time. See, that's what it is when you have a bad day. It's a small moment. It doesn't define the entire day. Because if I went to Disney World, I'd be like Disney World, I stood in a line, and then I rode a ride for a couple of seconds. Nobody talks about that, right? But it's just all perspective and understanding the reality of things. Ultimately, you control things. That's why I love your mindset, Mike, is about ownership, right? I have to take my thoughts captive, because if I don't, then it's going to rule my entire day. That's why ownership is so important. That's why mindset is so important for, you know, what you do and just this walk through life with Christ. I love the fact that you said in the beginning, you became a better person. And then throughout that process, right? Like you became a good entrepreneur. And then you found Christ. That's why you're talking about going all into all of these things, right? Yeah, like when we were talking about, you know, porn and shame, it's easy for you to go all in because you get it. When you're an entrepreneur, when you refine yourself and then you apply that same mindset to Christ, you look at it and you're like, why aren't you just doing it? You know what I mean? Like, just do it. Just do it. And we're the same way, man. So it's a constant process of like grace and understanding, and like when you refine yourself, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of was a knucklehead, man. But that's why sharing your testimony, that's why I'm so appreciative of today. And because, man, like when we get on podcasts with people, and like we don't want to do the same podcast that people have done 1,000,001 times. I don't know how many times you talked about porn on a podcast. I don't know how many times you talked about Christ on a podcast. I hope it was different. I didn't want it to be a businessy podcast.
Yeah, I mean, a few, but it's just like not because somebody asked, because I just felt I needed to share it. Because I know if there's anything that's people struggle with more, it'd be like cussing and porn. I think those are like the top two. Like
at the same time,
let's just be real for a second.
Yeah,
absolutely, Mike. Well, man, I want you to take just, you know, like 2 minutes and just, man, self-promote yourself. Where can they find you? Where can they connect with you? You know, and anything else, right? Where can they watch?
I appreciate that. So, quick rundown, man. Again, my name is Mike Crowson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AR Funnel, which is acquisition retention funnel. You can find me on Instagram, Mike_CROWSON. I've got a mission this year. I'm posting 6 times a day, every day on Instagram. Quite a journey, but we're doing it. So far, so good. And this year we plan on just trying to expand to continue to help coaches. We basically build out automated funnels for coaches to help them get more leads and nurture them. Going back to helping the old me in 2012, who made $12,000 in their first year and then had to go get a normal job. Trying to help that guy. And so we're essentially been able to help over 800 coaches build out funnels at this point and have 8 strategic partnerships. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild journey. It is simple. It's not easy. But I will take that from Michael Smoke, Higher Up Wellness, as he says that, good buddy and client of ours. And yeah, man, I'm just kind of trying to put it all out there. This year I'm trying to be just authentic as possible, trying to be real, trying to share actual messages versus just strategies and tips, and just trying to connect with people more.
Absolutely, man. And I'd say that you are not trying, you are doing.
man.
There's no such thing as trying, Mike.
I get it. You're either trying or doing, or you're
You're doing or you're not.
Yeah,
but man,
I agree with that statement.
How we end the podcast is we always have our guests say a prayer and pray us out. Is that something that you'd be open to?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity for us to come together today, share your message, share your word. Thank you for these 2 gentlemen, what they're doing for the community. Let us continue to reach as many people as possible and show that your grace is worth every bit of shame that we might feel inside of us. Be with those that are less fortunate. this evening. Those that have struggled with shelter during this cold storm, those who struggle with food, may us be generous with not only our wallets, but also our feelings and words as well. May people listening today go back and tell somebody that they love them. May they continue to share your name. May you bless us this week as we go forward. I pray for all the wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Thank you so much, Mike. It's been an honor. It's been a blessing. Great conversation, man. This is what I love. This is, this is my coffee in the morning, brother. And so,
That.
man, definitely connect with Mike. And for those that have been watching, man, we'll see you next time on the CROWNEDCAST podcast.